As the sun set over fields nearing harvest, Farmer David quietly looked across the results of 3 months of hard work. This crop was his best chance to pay off debts and keep the family farm alive. But hidden in the brush surrounding the fields, a growing threat was waiting. In just a few nights, an entire season of effort could be wiped away. David's greatest concern was not the weather, but a massive sounder of wild hogs that kept returning to the farm. One night, 19 hogs suddenly rushed in, tore up the grass, and devastated the cornfield. They rooted through the soil and constantly tested the fences for weak spots. With every visit, the sounder became bolder, and the damage grew worse. Unable to wait any longer, David and a team of hunters installed a large drop-gate trap. Corn was scattered inside to lure the hogs. However, they did not trigger it immediately. Acting too soon would only scare the remaining animals away. Instead, they left the gate open for several days, allowing the entire sounder to become comfortable entering and leaving freely for food. The strategy demanded absolute patience. Every night, cameras recorded the hogs approaching with great caution. The lead animals always stopped at the entrance to observe before guiding the rest inside. On some nights, they waited outside for a long time before walking away. Meanwhile, David was running out of time. Deer season was approaching, and a single loud disturbance could send the entire sounder somewhere else, wasting weeks of preparation. To improve his chances, David upgraded the system with infrared cameras and remote control through his phone. This allowed him to monitor every movement without being at the site. After many days of waiting, the decisive moment finally arrived. On the screen, the hogs entered the trap one by one to feed. David remained patient until the last animal had fully crossed the gate before making his move. The instant the entire sounder was inside, the heavy steel gate slammed shut, sealing the only exit. The loud impact echoed across the field, signaling that the trap had done its job. The hogs panicked, charging in every direction for an escape, but every route was blocked. After weeks of preparation, the entire sounder was captured in only a few seconds. The first success was quickly followed by another trap on a nearby property. This second trap captured 15 more wild hogs, including a dominant boar weighing over 100 kilograms. Trapped in the confined space, It repeatedly slammed into the steel panels with all its strength. Each impact shook the entire structure, yet the steel frame held firm. Around it, the rest of the sounder pushed and collided, creating a scene of complete chaos. Capturing the hogs was only the beginning. Removing them safely proved even more difficult. David's team prepared a livestock trailer and scattered corn to form a path from the trap to the vehicle. Using the hog's natural instinct to search for food, each animal followed the trail one after another. Without creating additional pressure or panic, the entire sounder was loaded in a controlled manner and transported to a processing facility according to proper procedures. In reality, the success came not only from modern equipment, but also from the patience to study the sounder's behavior and choose the perfect moment to act. A single rushed decision could have driven the entire group deep into the woods, forcing everything to start over. The combination of field experience and surveillance technology turned what seemed like an impossible challenge into a successful operation. If you enjoyed this story about protecting a family farm, leave a comment and share your thoughts. Don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating stories about the ongoing struggle between people and wildlife.
We returned to Texas with a major shift in strategy, not the location, but the design of the trap system. This time, the traps were upgraded with a one-way gate mechanism, allowing wild boars to enter easily following their instinct to search for food, but once they cross that threshold, there is no way back. A detail that may seem simple from a technical standpoint, yet powerful enough to completely change the course of the operation, turning familiar areas for the herd into points of no escape. Installation began early in the morning, as we returned to inspect the entire area based on the latest signs. Travel routes, freshly disturbed soil, and frequent movement points of the herd were carefully analyzed. Each trap was placed precisely along their natural pathways, and then the entire area was heavily camouflaged with soil, branches, and surrounding vegetation to minimize the chance of detection during movement. Once everything was completed, we withdrew from the site and switched to remote monitoring through the camera system. The first trap was triggered late in the afternoon. Through the camera, we clearly saw the herd entering without the hesitation seen before. One by one, they passed through the one-way gate, completely unaware that the exit behind them had already been sealed. When the locking mechanism activated, the entire herd was trapped in a single moment. By the next morning, inspection confirmed everything had gone exactly as expected, fast and efficient. The second trap demonstrated the effectiveness of the new design even more clearly. Placed near an open feeding area where the boars frequently returned, the system not only held a small group but continuously attracted new individuals. One after another, they entered without any sign of caution, and none of them returned. Upon inspection, the internal density was significantly higher than in previous designs, proving the stability of the one-way mechanism. By the third trap, the effectiveness was nearly fully confirmed. Positioned deeper in the forest, in the area where the herd felt safest, it ironically became the place where their guard dropped even further. Cameras recorded small groups entering throughout the night, moving slowly but continuously. There was no immediate panic response, until the entire herd eventually realized there was no longer any exit. When we arrived the next morning, the interior was completely filled. After completing the full trap system, we reviewed the overall results. There was no major change in location, nor an increase in equipment, only the addition of a one-way gate mechanism. But that small detail completely transformed operational efficiency. In situations like this, the difference is not about scale, but about small, decisive elements. The final trap introduced a completely different situation. When we arrived, there was a mother sow with her piglets inside, seemingly a perfect outcome. But a problem quickly emerged. The mesh gaps were too large, allowing the piglets to start slipping out and escaping the controlled area. The situation turned chaotic within seconds, forcing an immediate response to prevent losing the entire group. Hunting dogs were deployed immediately to chase down the escaping animals. With their speed and sharp sense of smell, they quickly regained control of the situation. Each piglet was located and guided back into the containment area. After everything was resolved, the entire group, from the mother to the piglets, was fully secured and transferred to transport vehicles, closing an unexpected incident. When the city falls asleep, another world begins to move. Wild boars are no longer appearing only at the edge of forests, but are pushing into residential areas, damaging gardens, searching for food, and moving through streets. This is no longer just a matter of property damage, but a sign that the boundary between humans and nature is gradually disappearing. If you found this content useful, leave your thoughts and stay tuned for the next part.
In Arizona, feral hogs are becoming one of the most serious problems facing agricultural areas. Their numbers have increased rapidly over the past several years, causing ever-growing losses for farmers. At night, herds of feral hogs frequently invade crop fields, rooting up cultivated soil, destroying crops, and leaving behind devastated farmland. In response to this situation, a large-scale control campaign has been launched in the hardest-hit areas in hopes of reducing the pressure these animals place on local agriculture.
Soil processes increases erosion.
A series of traps were positioned along the feral hog's most commonly used travel routes. The objective of the campaign was clear: to stop the uncontrolled growth of the hog population before the damage spread even further. This morning, we began our journey to inspect the trap sites after a night of activity, and what awaited us quickly exceeded all initial expectations. The first trap was located in a pine forest not far from a farm. As soon as we arrived, the entire team realized that it had been an exceptionally successful night. Inside the steel enclosure, numerous feral hogs were trapped together, constantly searching for a way to escape. A single trap alone revealed that the hog population density in the area had reached an alarmingly high level.
Walk around. Get him, girl. Hey, hey. Get in there. Hey, 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 hey. Hey, hey, hey.
Leaving the pine forest behind, we continued eastward to an oak woodland. This area was known for the frequent appearance of fresh tracks and patches of freshly rooted soil. The scene here nearly mirrored the results of the first trap. Several feral hogs were confined inside, repeatedly crashing into the fencing in desperate attempts to break free. The success of the first two traps clearly indicated that the operation was moving in the right direction.
Yep. On the bus. Let's go get on the bus. Come on.
The next inspection point was located near the edge of the forest along a route commonly used by feral hogs traveling between their shelter and feeding grounds. After nearly half an hour of travel, we arrived and were immediately overwhelmed by the sight before us. Dozens of feral hogs were packed tightly behind the steel barrier, creating a chaotic scene rarely witnessed. This was not only proof of the effectiveness of the trapping system, but also a reflection of the true scale of the problem local farms face every day.
That's too big.
Really sure, but we'll find out here shortly.
Move this over.
The deeper we moved into the forest, the more surprising the results became. At an open clearing where surveillance cameras had recorded heavy feral hog activity the previous night, another trap was filled with newly captured animals. The constant sound of bodies slamming against the steel fencing echoed throughout the area, demonstrating both their strength and aggression. This location alone was enough to explain why strong control measures had become necessary. As the afternoon gradually passed, we reached another trap positioned deep within the forest near a massive ancient tree. Inside were enormous feral hogs, significantly larger than any we had captured earlier. They repeatedly charged the fencing with astonishing force. Seeing these animals up close made it easy to understand the level of destruction they could inflict on crops if they were allowed to continue roaming freely around agricultural areas. That'll be why the time the sun disappeared behind the treetops, the final trap was inspected. Once again, the results surpassed expectations. After hours of non-stop travel and work at the trap sites, the number of feral hogs captured had risen dramatically. A substantial number of animals have been removed from the area, helping reduce pressure on local farms and lowering the risk of future damage.
That'll be a cute short thing. Always gotta love the customer.
Come on, hey, 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 hey.
Left, one. This one to the vet.
All right. On to the next one.
Although the battle against feral hogs in Arizona is far from over, this operation has already produced clear results. If left uncontrolled, the feral hog population will continue to reproduce, expand its territory, and cause increasingly severe losses for farmers as well as the local ecosystem. After a long day of non-stop effort, the agricultural areas surrounding Arizona's forests finally have a better chance of entering the next growing season with greater security and protection than before.
Imagine stepping outside one morning and barely recognizing your own farm. Carefully tended crop rows have been torn apart, fences have been smashed down, and the ground is covered with tracks and muddy trenches stretching across the field. In a single night, months of hard work have practically vanished. The culprit isn't a storm or broken machinery, but feral hogs spreading across rural America. With their incredible destructive power, rapid reproduction, and remarkable survival instincts, they have become one of the biggest threats facing Texas farmers. What makes feral hogs so dangerous isn't just their strength. They're highly intelligent, quick learners, and often change their travel routes when they sense danger. Common methods like chasing them away, hunting individual animals, or putting up temporary fencing usually work only for a short time. When a sounder is disturbed, it can split into smaller groups and return at a different time. That's why many Texas farmers have realized they can't rely on luck alone. They need a strategy that's patient, precise, and capable of capturing an entire group at once. As a result, large-scale corral trapping systems have become increasingly common. Before setting a trap, farmers carefully study signs on the ground, uprooted soil, trails along fence lines, muddy areas near ponds, and places where hogs regularly return after dark. Once a consistent travel route is identified, they build a large circular steel trap strong enough for an entire sounder to enter without feeling threatened. Corn, ripe fruit, and fermented feed are spread inside to attract the animals night after night. For the first few days, the gate is left completely open. The hogs come and go freely, feeding without encountering any danger. Night after night, they grow more comfortable. The younger hogs enter first, followed by the larger adults, until eventually the entire group is walking inside. When the right moment arrives, the farmer simply watches through an infrared camera on a smartphone. As soon as the last hog steps fully into the trap, one tap on the screen is all it takes. The steel gate slams shut, locking the entire group inside. That moment is usually fast but incredibly intense. The trapped hogs panic, charging into the steel panels and creating loud crashes that echo through the night. Some try digging underneath the fence, while others circle frantically searching for an escape route. But the trap is designed to withstand powerful impacts. After several minutes of chaos, things begin to settle down. With one well-timed activation, a farmer can capture dozens of feral hogs at once, dramatically reducing the damage they can cause in the nights ahead. However, the battle is far from over. Feral hogs reproduce at an astonishing rate, adapt quickly, and can survive in a wide range of environments. If even a few animals escape control efforts, new groups can form again in a relatively short time. Meanwhile, the debate continues. Some argue that large-scale control programs should be expanded. Others raise concerns about costs, management practices, and environmental impacts. But for farmers watching their land being destroyed night after night, there is little time left to wait for distant decisions. Across the vast landscapes of Texas, ranchers and farmers continue their work quietly and relentlessly. They check cameras, track fresh footprints, repair damaged fences, and prepare new traps before darkness falls. For them, this isn't just about protecting crops. It's about protecting their livelihood, their families, and land that has been cared for generations. Feral hogs have proven themselves to be powerful, intelligent, and extremely difficult to control. But people are learning to fight back with technology, experience, and persistence. And in Texas, that battle is certain to continue for many years to come.
After successfully testing small box traps at Liam's farm, we quickly realized an undeniable reality. The wild boar density in this area was far higher than initially expected.
Ich habe keinen Strich gesehen.
The small traps were effective for catching one animal at a time, but when facing an entire herd, they were almost powerless. The limitation in how many animals each trap could handle forced us to think of a new, more powerful and comprehensive strategy. This time, we decided to upgrade the entire trapping system. Instead of individual small boxes, a series of large corral traps were built, designed to hold multiple wild boars at once. The idea was to minimize time and effort while increasing herd control efficiency. However, this raised a difficult question. Would the larger size of the traps make wild boars more cautious, or would their crowding make them careless and easier to lure in? Only real-world results could answer that. On the first night of deployment, the traps set far from Liam's farm were the first to trigger alerts. When we reviewed the camera footage, we could hardly believe our eyes. A scene we had never witnessed before. An entire herd packed tightly inside the enclosure, moving chaotically in every direction. It was completely different from what we had seen with the small box traps. The density and chaos were overwhelming, yet also revealed the incredible strength and energy of the boars.
Get in there. Yep. Yep. Hey. Don't shut it, Drew. Hurry.
Without hesitation, the team immediately moved to the remote trap locations, preparing for a challenging night. When we arrived, the situation became clear. With such large numbers, every action had to be fast and precise.
Go.
We split into groups and began securing the boars, section by section, inside the enclosure. Smooth coordination and decisive action allowed us to capture the entire herd, far exceeding initial expectations. 2 large traps near Liam's farm were triggered in just one night, clearly proving the effectiveness of the new strategy. Continuous alerts from the cameras meant no one could rest. The sound of boars' constant movement and chaotic noise echoed throughout the area. The entire team had to mobilize maximum effort, taking turns handling each trap and controlling each animal to ensure none were missed. It was an almost sleepless night, but every minute was worth it. Each boar removed from the enclosure meant one less threat to the entire farm. The work continued for hours, restraining and moving large numbers of wild boars from both traps, but the results made all the effort worthwhile. The final traps had been set within the farm area the day before, and now, as we returned, a series of alarm signals from traps near Liam's house kept going off. Unexpected, but perfectly timed. Being closer to the farm made access to the boars much easier than the distant traps. The team quickly gained control of the situation, removing all wild boars from each trap, eliminating the need for long and exhausting trips. The final task was simply to deal with the remaining targets, ensuring the entire operation was completed smoothly and efficiently. When the last traps were cleared, Liam's farm gradually returned to a peaceful state after days of tension. From the small box traps we started with the current corral trap system, everything proved a simple but important truth. The right strategy can make a huge difference. The number of wild boars controlled in this operation far exceeded all previous results, significantly reducing the threat to livestock and the entire farm. However, as we looked into the distance, new tracks were still visible on the ground, reminding us that the battle was not over. Wild boars could return at any time, but now, with upgraded experience and strategy, we were ready to face them and ensure the farm remained protected.
folks that there's an attitude about pigs that they're disgusting, they're just dirty creatures, and they kind of just want them dead. And I've talked to people that go helicopter hunting, and I go, well, what do you do with all the pigs? And they're like, you leave them there. And I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm like, that doesn't seem...
In the United States, wild boars are among the most dangerous invasive species. They are intelligent, highly adaptable, and reproduce rapidly. Domestic pigs brought by Spanish explorers in the 16th century escaped into the wild and evolved into feral populations, spreading across the southern states, destroying crops, tearing up soil, and severely disrupting ecosystems. Over centuries, they have become a powerful wild animal, now appearing even near residential areas, posing both economic and environmental threats. In the early 20th century, European wild boars were imported into the United States for hunting purposes. After escaping captivity, they interbred with feral domestic pigs, creating an extremely dangerous hybrid. Faster, more aggressive, more resilient, and more destructive than their ancestors. Their reproductive capacity is alarming. A single sow can produce 2 litters per year, with up to 12 piglets per litter, allowing the population to double within months if left uncontrolled. This makes traditional control methods largely ineffective, as new populations are constantly being created before humans can respond. The USDA estimates that there are currently around 6.9 million wild boars in the United States, with Texas alone accounting for about 2.6 million, spread across 253 out of 254 counties. They can run at 30 miles per hour, jump 40-inch fences, and have tusks over 6 inches long with skin thicker than 1 inch, making light weapons ineffective. The damage is very real, from military airfields forcing pilots to abort takeoffs, to golf courses, residential areas, and underground fiber optic cables worth millions being destroyed. One farmer lost 24 acres of corn in a single night, around $40,000. Texas alone suffers over $500 million in annual losses, and nationwide damage reaches around $3 billion, not including livestock, bird eggs, and widespread ecological destruction. Traditional efforts such as trapping, hunting, or simply pushing pigs into neighboring counties have largely failed. When they return, they are smarter, more cautious, and better at avoiding any signs of previous control groups. Each reproductive cycle increases the population further, and every removed group is quickly replaced by new herds migrating from nearby regions. Helicopter culling and ground teams only provide temporary relief, while the population continues to expand. Farmers have begun adopting a different strategy. Intelligent corral traps combined with fermented corn to encourage the boars to enter confidently. Once the animals feed, relax, and return repeatedly over several nights. The trap is triggered when the entire group is inside. No individuals survive, preventing the herd from learning how to avoid it in the future. This technique exploits their behavior and intelligence, taking advantage of how they observe their environment and pass learned behavior to the next generation. Today, farming communities in Texas combine resources, using smart trapping systems and helicopter surveillance, while also protecting allied wolf populations, natural predators in the ecosystem. These wolves target piglets, directly reducing the population's future growth. In Atascosa County, this strategy has reduced corn damage from 600 acres per year to nearly zero, proving the effectiveness of combining ecological balance with technology. Traditional methods only provide temporary impact, catch a few individuals, and the remaining herd teaches the young to avoid traps. The population disperses and establishes new groups in previously cleared areas. Helicopter-based removal only shifts the problem elsewhere. In contrast, the allied wolves affect the next generation directly, targeting the reproductive stage where future populations are determined, enabling more natural and effective control than any human-led campaign. Camera systems and research data show that these wolves learn to hunt piglets in coordinated groups, using precise timing and teamwork to exploit moments when mother sows are exhausted from night foraging. This behavior is learned and passed down through generations, creating a natural pressure that human programs have not been able to replicate. Data from Texas and Georgia shows significant population declines in areas with continuous wolf activity, without the need for extensive trapping or artificial hunting. The story of wild boars in Texas demonstrates that nature has powerful self-regulating mechanisms, which humans sometimes unintentionally disrupt. If you found this content useful, please leave a comment with your thoughts and share it with others interested in agriculture and wildlife.
In Texas alone, the wild hog population is estimated to exceed 2.6 million animals, accounting for nearly half of all feral hogs in the United States. Every year, these animals cause hundreds of millions of dollars in damage to agriculture, the environment, and rural infrastructure. Torn up fields, destroyed fences, and contaminated water sources have become a common sight across many parts of the state. What's even more concerning is that their numbers continue to grow rapidly, making the fight against wild hogs increasingly difficult. As wild hog populations continue to expand and the damage keeps piling up, Texas has been forced to scale up its control efforts on an unprecedented level. From federal agencies to private landowners, everyone is involved in the battle to slow the spread of these invasive animals. Tens of millions of dollars are spent each year on monitoring, research, and control programs in hopes of keeping the problem from spiraling completely out of control. Among all the states affected by feral hogs, Texas remains the epicenter of the fight, with the largest wild hog population in the country. One of the most commonly used tools is the steel box trap. While relatively compact in size, these traps are highly effective for capturing small groups of hogs or individuals that frequently roam near residential areas. They are typically placed along well-traveled routes, close to water sources, or near feeding grounds. To improve success rates, operators often use fermented corn and other strong-scented bait to attract hogs over several consecutive days. Once the animals become comfortable entering the trap on a regular basis, the drop door mechanism is activated. The entire structure is built from heavy-duty steel and equipped with reinforced locking systems capable of withstanding the force of large adult hogs attempting to escape in panic. However, the most effective weapon in Texas' arsenal is still the large-scale corral trap combined with remote monitoring technology. This method has become the backbone of many feral hog control programs across the state. Modern trapping systems are equipped with infrared cameras and connected directly to smartphones or tablets, allowing landowners to monitor hog activity in real time without ever being on site. What makes these systems unique is that operators do not trigger the trap as soon as a few hogs enter. Instead, they patiently wait until the entire sounder has gathered inside the enclosure. That patience is driven by the remarkable intelligence of wild hogs. These animals learn quickly and adapt even faster. If only a few hogs are captured while others escape, the survivors quickly associate the trap with danger and become extremely cautious. They may avoid that location for months, rendering previous control efforts almost useless. For this reason, the goal is not to remove individual animals one at a time, but to capture the entire group in a single operation. This approach is considered the most effective way to slow the continued growth of Texas feral hog population. Thanks to a combination of box traps, advanced corral traps, and other control methods, Tens of thousands of wild hogs are removed each year. Yet the results still fall short of reversing the overall trend. Their rapid reproduction, vast distribution, and incredible adaptability allow feral hogs to keep expanding into new territory. Areas that have recently been cleared can quickly be repopulated by new groups within a short period of time. This is no longer simply a story about a nuisance animal. It has become one of the most significant ecological challenges facing Texas today. And as this battle continues with no clear end in sight, one question remains. Can humans truly control what happens in nature? Or are we simply trying to manage the consequences of problems that have been decades in the making?
Watch it from the top view.
There's a reality becoming harder to ignore. Wild boars are no longer confined to remote forests or isolated woodland edges. They are moving closer to human life, entering places once considered safe, controlled, and secure. They no longer limit themselves to destroying crops in open fields. Instead, they have begun pushing directly into residential and working areas. Soil is torn apart, gates are knocked down, furniture is overturned, equipment is damaged, and entire properties can descend into chaos within a matter of minutes. Once wild boars become accustomed to entering these areas, the problem is no longer an isolated incident, but a clear sign that existing control measures are gradually losing their effectiveness. The time for action had arrived, and those responsible for protecting the area were forced to make decisive choices with little room for error. The most common mistake in wild boar management is not a lack of equipment, but poor timing and imprecise execution. A single mistake, placing a trap in the wrong location, triggering it too early, or allowing one animal to escape, is enough for the entire herd to remember the encounter. From that point forward, the situation becomes even more complicated as the boars expand their range and move deeper into areas where people live and work. In response, a large-scale steel trap system was carefully assembled and deployed. Bait was distributed around the site, and every component was thoroughly inspected before the operation began. At the same time, a network of cameras was installed, allowing decisions to be based on real-time information rather than guesswork.
All we're gonna do is put a little fresh.
The cameras were positioned along key access routes and movement corridors, creating a continuous surveillance network across the entire operational area. The objective was not simply to increase the number of traps, but to minimize risk to people while ensuring the entire control effort could be carried out safely. Every decision was delayed until the data confirmed that the entire herd had entered the control zone. Once the animals had fully gained confidence in the bait, the remote activation system was triggered. Every escape route was sealed instantly, turning the area into a completely enclosed space. The herd had fallen into the trap. There was no opportunity to scatter or escape, only frantic movement within a confined area. The threat was contained at the point of intrusion, clearly demonstrating the difference between a carefully planned system and traditional manual methods. Rather than relying on a single trap location, the system was deployed across multiple strategic sites. Established travel routes, feeding areas, and key access points near the farm were all equipped with carefully positioned traps. This arrangement prevented the herd from spreading out, reduced pressure on individual traps, and improved overall control effectiveness. It represented a long-term strategy designed for environments where people and wildlife share the same landscape. In many cases, each trap was capable of capturing a remarkably large number of wild boars. Once wild boars cross the boundary into areas where people live, speed is no longer the most important factor. Precision is. A single mistake in planning or deployment can turn a manageable situation into a serious threat for the entire community. Choosing the right moment, following strict operational procedures, and using technology effectively can reduce risk before they escalate into consequences. This is not merely a wildlife management issue. It is a matter of protecting human safety. This was never just a confrontation between people and wild boars. It represented the fragile boundary between the order humans create and the raw power of nature itself. When a herd approaches residential areas, the challenge no longer belongs to one individual or a single farm. It becomes a shared concern for an entire community. In those moments, every decision must be made with absolute clarity and careful attention to detail. There is no room for mistakes in this ongoing struggle, and every choice helps shape the way humans coexist with the natural world.